Welcome back, my morbid moss. Today we have dun dun dun. No surprise to anyone, we have another horror author. Because we support indie horror on this podcast. So today we have Megan Bontrager, who is a horror and science fantasy author based in, get this, fucking Ireland. Hello, amazing. On my bucket list. Okay. Gonna have to hear about that for sure. After spending her formative years traversing the southern US in the back of a moving van. Which I love. Megan attended a theater conservatory in Los Angeles. Shortly thereafter, she received a BFA in creative writing from the University of Central Florida and a Master's of Arts in writing from Johns Hopkins University. She currently resides in Dublin with her husband and four-legged children, where she is a PhD candidate. Oh, my condolences. At NUI Maynooth. Most recently, you can find her short story Fame in Erosynthanetos, an anthology of death and desire from Quill and Crow, and her newest release, also coming from the delightful Department of Quill and Crow, Eye of the Ouroboros. Did I get it right?
Yes, it's
Yay!
quite a word.
I'm so excited. Ouroboros. Guys, I've been practicing before I push record. Okay, I was like, how do I say this? What do I do? Okay, so lots going on with you. Damn, that's super, super exciting. So tell us about, first of all, the In the Moving Van. What is that about?
Oh God. Well, my dad was in the Air Force.
Okay.
So I think the longest I lived in a place, actually, the time that I've been here in Ireland is the longest that I've lived in one place. It's 2.5 years-ish
Oh,
now here.
wow. Yeah.
So I was just bopping around all over. I couldn't sit
I
still
feel
then.
that.
I can't sit still now.
No, yeah. And it creates like this deep internal need to constantly travel, because I'm the
Yes.
same way. I have been to 32 countries because I was born on a military base. My parents were in the Air Force, like same situation. So
You
yeah,
get it. You get antsy
that is,
after a while.
oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I live in Tennessee in the South. And so it's like, we must go see the world, we gotta get
Yeah.
out of here for have our little vacation.
Get out of the
So,
South.
yeah. So what took you to Ireland now? Is your husband Irish? Are you is it because of your studies, or what are you doing there?
Well, my husband is in medical school.
Awesome.
We moved in together right at the start of lockdown. And we were just kind of aimlessly trying to figure out what our next moves were. And, when you're in the medical field, you have a pretty set trajectory.
Yeah.
But I figured, I can do books anywhere. And if you can do books in Ireland, do books in Ireland.
Yes.
It's good.
Yes.
So, he got the opportunity to come over here, and we sold all of our furniture, our cars. We moved over here with 2 suitcases and our animals, and that's it.
Oh my gosh, that's
It's great.
amazing. That is amazing. And I so desperately want to travel to Ireland and Scotland and Wales and do that whole little area. I bet does it rain as much as I've seen that it does though?
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
think that it's going to be an exaggeration, but it's not.
No.
We're constantly damp.
Oh no.
It's
Hey, you know what? Good
struggle.
writing vibes for like gothic horror, and though, like you've got
Exactly.
the vibes there. So perfect.
The vibes are always here.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. So we're expecting to see a ton of writing coming from you while you guys are living there. So that's
Oh yeah.
exciting. That's awesome. And speaking of writing, you have a book coming out soon from a Gothic press. So tell us, I believe you have a blurb to share with us about your upcoming novel.
I do. I will read that to you, and then I'll
Awesome.
ramble about it.
Yes.
So,
I can't wait.
like you said, it's called Eye of the Ouroboros, which is, the more I look at it, that's quite a word. Here's what it is. When guilt-stricken park ranger Theodora Buchanan gets too close to the truth of her sister Flora's strange disappearance, the Federal Bureau of Reality intervenes to ensure that the otherworldly answers she finds never see the light of day. The National Park Service Search and Rescue Team knows better than anyone that the woods surrounding the insular town of Mill Creek, West Virginia, have a habit of taking people and refusing to give them back. They also know that when you find a door in the woods, you don't go through it for fear of never coming back again. But Theo's tenacity and her proclivity for sticking her crooked nose where it doesn't belong has caught the attention of the Federal Bureau of Reality, those who stand sentinel at the gates of the infinite corridor where endless hostile realities converge. When Theo steps boldly through a door in the woods, she learns just how far they're willing to go in order to keep all its secrets locked tight, even if that means silencing those who stumble upon them permanently.
Ooh,
A
I
very chill
like
book.
it. Yes. And you're speaking to my Southern Gothic heart here with the doors in the woods and people
Oh, yeah.
disappearing. And like, that's our life. We live that shit down here. People go disappearing in the woods all the time. Like,
Oh, yeah.
that's
You get it.
just, it's a known thing. Yes. Or that, have you ever seen the, supposedly all these random stairs in the
Yes.
forest? And a lot, you know, of
Yes.
course, a lot of them you're like, that came from, there used to be a building there. So, but some of them you're like, there's never been a building here. Like, what are we
That's
doing?
not supposed to be
So,
there.
yeah. This is a no bueno, you know. So very, very cool. I like that. So, what inspired you? How did you kind of come into this? Do you mainly write Gothic horror, or do you do science fantasy too? What kind of? How did you get into those genres? Have you always been a fan, or tell me about that?
I've always been a huge fan of horror. I think the fact that my comfort movie for the longest time as a kid was The Ring says a lot about who I am as a person.
That's my trauma movie. That is my trauma film. Okay.
I
Oh
just
my
admitted
god.
that on a recording. That's never going away.
No, yeah, she's coming for you out of the computer. Like she's
I
coming.
know. My husband's gonna listen to this and go, hang on.
Hold on, wait a minute. Oh no, what did I do? Yeah.
But in the middle of lockdown, we moved from Orlando, Florida, to the middle of absolutely nowhere in Kentucky. Um, and I have a lot of family in North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, so I kind of know. I know what to do and what not to do in the woods. You know,
That's
at night,
right.
you know, you grow up thinking, okay, if you hear someone say your name in the woods, no, you don't.
Go.
That,
No, you
that
don't.
kind of thing.
You see eyes, you don't go over there. Woman screaming, fuck. No.
Exactly. It's not happening.
Right.
And so we lived in this apartment that was at the top floor of this building that sat super precariously on top of a hill overlooking this huge expanse of woods. And at the time, I was doing my master's online. So all I really had to do was sit on our balcony and look out over these woods. And I just heard the weirdest things coming from in those trees. And I would just look down into them and just, I would get a chill up my spine. And I just, you know, you never know what's down there. And it's funny that you mentioned the stairs because around this time I came across this Reddit thread, this creepypasta that was
live for it. Yes.
So good. An actual park ranger who was listing all of the crazy things that they had seen, they had come across that other rangers had told them, and a lot of it was the stairs.
Yes.
And I just fell down a rabbit hole. And then it just, you know, I was doing the masters and things were coming out and I was having this writing block and, you know, academia is academia. And then this idea just hit me and came out.
That's awesome. Well, and I think it's too, so many people, because I come from a research world too. And that's why I say my condolences because I finished my dissertation and defended in 2020. So during COVID and try to do your research when everyone is in lockdown. That was shitty.
Yeah.
So, but there was such a need. I was so absorbed in this nonfiction research, you know, analytics, statistics, blah, 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 all the things that I was like, after it was finally over, I had such a thirst for fiction and for making the wildest of story because I was like, I need to do something so outside of my everyday right now, you know? So that was what brought me into writing more fiction seriously at that point too. So I totally identify with that.
You get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So how do you find your background in theater? How does that influence your writing?
Well, I joke that, it's like theater is why I'm loud and that's it. But I think that the biggest thing that I learned in doing theater, I did community theater all growing up because it was kind of the one thing that you could find no matter where you moved.
Yes.
And then into theater school, it teaches you to really notice things and to listen. And I know that's kind of backwards advice for a writer who's just sitting there alone at their laptop.
Oh no, but we're watching. We're the watchers. Yeah.
Exactly. You pick up things, and it really has helped me develop characters, because character always comes first for me. Because if I don't have a character that I'm super hyper fixated on and that just lives in my head like a person who's just talking to me, then I
Right, right.
can't go forward with the story. And I think that theater has really kind of beefed that up for me.
Yeah, that's so cool. I agree with you. We anytime you're having a conversation and then something funny happens or something comes out, even the people in my life now around me, they're so used to it being like, oh, that's a book idea, that's a story idea, that could be a
Yeah.
character. It's like all the time you're just like soaking the world in like a sponge, and then we're gonna put it in our books.
Yeah.
But yeah, disclaimer: if you find someone similar to you in one of my books, it is not you. Okay, any of the people that are listening to this podcast right now,
Look away.
look away. Definitely not you. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so tell us about, I love that spin on words with the Federal Bureau of Reality. So where did that idea come from? That's fun.
Well, I grew up watching X-Files with my dad. He got me into it young, probably too young, which also kind of explains a lot.
Yeah.
I'm saying it out loud, and then things are occurring to me.
Yeah.
And it just always really interested me, the idea that the government is hiding things. And, as I grow older, I think, the government's hiding things.
All of the things. Yeah, pretty much.
But
yeah.
as a little kid, I would constantly hound my dad about what was in Area 51. And even today, I'm an adult woman, and I still ask him, so,
hey,
you can tell me?
Same. Yes.
And I come from a pretty conservative family, and we don't always see eye to eye.
Right.
And so my views on the government are overcritical at times. And so a lot of my my political leanings bleed into my horror a little bit. And then I think sometimes with horror, the monsters are secondary.
Yes.
And the monsters are a vehicle for very real and very tangible things.
Yes.
Because, in the book, the Federal Bureau of Reality is guarding these alternate dimensions and making sure they don't overlap, because when things overlap, things go horribly. As you'll see in the book.
Yeah.
So, things that can start out well-intentioned through bureaucracy and egos and men.
Oh,
things
yes.
can go south pretty fast.
Yes, definitely. Especially when that system has been in play for hundreds of years. And then we're
Exactly.
like, is it working for us at this point? I'm not sure. So
Exactly.
yeah, we the people who have no say, right?
Power structure.
Yeah. Oh man, I could really go off on a whole tangent about that, but absolutely. So that's cool that and social commentary. I think a lot of people miss that with horror, because we are kind of the genre that takes the first step. Like the most horrifying topics or things that are taboo to talk about. We're like, you know what? Let's get this out there and let's start some conversations about it. So I think that's really cool and really honorable when our horror authors do tread, into those deeper waters for the betterment of humanity. All right. So you have your book set in woods surrounding Mill Creek, West Virginia. We have a Mill Creek down here in Tennessee, but I have to know. So, is this the place with the overlooking the woods that inspired you? Is that Mill Creek, or was it somewhere else?
So Mill Creek, West Virginia is an actual place. So if anyone from Mill Creek ever hears this or reads the book, I'm so sorry.
They're terrified for life now. Yay.
They're like, wait a minute. No. So it's an actual national forest. It's an actual town. It was interesting. When we were moving from Florida up to Kentucky, we had to take a little bit of a detour because the U.S. interstate system is what it is.
Oh man. Yeah.
And we ended up within miles of Mill Creek, and I was sitting there in the car like, oh my god, Theo is here, I can feel her.
Yes. How fun.
You get out at the rest stop and the woods are just so alive. I mean, not to knock Kentucky, but there's just I loved Kentucky. I thought
A
it
lot of
was
lot
great.
of potholes there.
A
Yeah.
lot, so many.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I in Kentucky was close enough to West Virginia that I felt like I could kind of cheese it a little bit, and then
Absolutely.
um, I have family in North Carolina. They're kind of close to the Blue Ridge Park
Yeah.
area,
Yeah.
um, and so I just kind of, when I was writing the book, I looked for like the smallest speck of a town, right on the border of the actual national forest. And I just slapped it down. I did a lot of research into the actual town of Mill Creek, West
Yes.
Virginia.
That
It
makes it more
seems like
fun.
a chill little place. I look at real estate there all the time. I fall down a Zillow rabbit hole.
Yes.
I do when I have free time,
Oh,
I
yes,
guess.
yes.
Oh yeah, and I wonder like, oh, could Theo live there? Who knows?
Right, right. I mean, one day, maybe you'll live there one day. You never know.
Maybe.
Just have set up your whole kingdom. They're right there in Mill Creek. I love that. So how do you, when you're researching for your books, you just went into how you had to research kind of the location, but then also with weaving in some of that science, fantasy, science fiction type stuff, uh, what do you have to specifically research in writing your books?
That's a good question. It really varies from book to book. With Ouroboros, I felt like I could kind of just make it up off the cuff as far as world building and stuff, because no one's gonna fact check a Federal Bureau of Reality.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if they do, I'm concerned.
Yeah, there's no
Um,
reality happening there. Yeah.
so outside, what the day-to-day life of someone actually working on a search and rescue team might be, what a park ranger does every day, their uniforms, what a ranger station might look like. It all just very quickly unspools into unreality, which is so much easier than
Super
writing
fun.
something real.
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
right now I'm drafting a book that takes place in a sea cave. The entrance collapses and they're all stuck inside. So you
Oh
have to kind
no.
of that's a lot.
That sounds terrifying.
So so the research for that is, um, caving equipment, safety equipment, cave diving, how are caves formed, rocks,
The
etc.
tides.
And
Yeah.
exactly, and there's just so much. So I think
Yeah.
with Ouroboros, I got really lucky because I could just kind of root it in something very tangible. Like I feel
Mhm.
like every American person has met a park ranger, even just in passing.
Yes. They saw
Um,
Smokey the Bear on TV. They know what's up. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Right,
That's the
right.
anchor, and then everything else from there is just wild imagination.
Fun. I love that. That sounds like a fun journey. So then how do you balance that wild abandon with writing fiction with your very serious PhD studies? Because I know how intensive that is. And so then how do you like have to switch off research brain and go into like, okay, now it's writing time, or how does that work for you?
So as soon as I master that, I'll let you know because
Oh,
I
okay.
have. But my PhD is practice as research, so it's half a novel and then half a paper that basically justifies why this university is letting me write a book for academic credit.
Well, that's
So,
fucking awesome. Hello.
so
That's way cooler than mine.
I got to girl boss a little bit. I was like, "Hey, let me write a novel for you, please."
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so it's a retelling of Macbeth from Lady Macbeth's perspective and in the modern day. Because the critical part of the PhD is all about adaptation studies and how Lady Macbeth has kind of been co-opted into this unlikable female character
Right.
movement,
Right.
um, and how like Amy Dunn and all those morally questionable women who are characters to root for
Mhm.
now. Um, so I am in my second year of the PhD. I was like, what year is it even?
That's how it
And
goes.
the whole first year, I wrote the novel. I did the novel. It's revised. My supervisors are happy. It came out English. It's
Hey,
good.
that's great.
Um, So then I sat down with my supervisors on the first day of the semester just recently, and they said, okay, so what are your plans for the paper? Do you have an outline? Do you have sample chapters written? And I was
Woo!
like, sample chapters?
Oh yeah, yeah. Get you chapter 1 and your chapter
Nope.
2. Ugh. Yeah, gross. I'm having a
Yeah.
hot flash. I'm stressing out. Yeah, yeah. That's
Like
tough.
a bibliography? Not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not
That
today.
that is, oh my God. That's like I say, Godspeed to you because
Thank
woo,
you.
but so then you do that's nice though that you got to have that creative aspect. That's like a really cool PhD project to be able to do, to write a novel. And I love Macbeth, so that's awesome. That's gonna be really cool. So will you get to publish that through the university, or will you be able to take that elsewhere after the program is finished, or how will that work?
Luckily, I got the go-ahead from my university, even though it's very much the central, it's the beating heart of the dissertation, so to speak,
Yeah.
because the paper is built out around the book and why I wrote it and what it's doing. But because I think I'm one of the first people here to do anything this creative on this scale. This creative, that sounded so rude, but anything of this scale for a dissertation. So they said, okay, well, if you want to give this to your agent, Godspeed to you. So I'm able to revise it with the professionals, and then
Okay.
hopefully go on sub with it eventually. So
Awesome.
we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is awesome. Well, I'm glad that they aren't like locking in the rights to it or something like that. So
I
that's
was worried about that.
fantastic. Yeah, no, I would be too. Yeah, so that's very cool. So what's your writing process like? Obviously, we know you have to do some research, and then you have to balance your life, like your research life and your fiction writing life. So then, do you have to like sit down, get in the zone, have a tea, have a coffee, or are you one of these psychopaths that play music, or like
Oh
what?
no,
Yeah.
I am. I'm a music
Oh,
girl. I'm so sorry.
no. Does it have do they have words? Does it have words? Because I'm
No,
okay, okay. I can forgive you.
no.
It's okay.
It's mostly I have this 10-hour Skyrim ambience video that I've been
Okay.
playing on a loop for like 5 years.
Vibes. Vibes.
Um,
Yes.
but I do a lot of listening to music and staring into space, first of
Oh
all.
my gosh. Yes.
Um, I spend a lot of time on public transportation, and I just have this horrible expression, this resting, angry face when I'm like focusing. So I just look like a
Yes.
crazy person on the bus, but I'm
Yes.
plotting, I'm
Like
thinking, and
there is a serial killer. She's sitting right there. Yeah.
the horror writer was the next best thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think maybe it's a bit of the theater in me coming out, but I work from set pieces. I kind of will daydream scenes that are benchmarks throughout the book that I'm excited to get to. Big cinematic moments
Yeah.
that are really anchor the story as it goes along. And those are really good goalposts to have that then I build out from. So it's like, how do I connect these fun things that I can't stop thinking about on the bus?
Yeah.
Um, and it just kind of goes from there. I've never really been able to plot in a linear way, just sit down with an outline I kind of have to have the
Some
big
of that
idea.
flexibility. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. And because from the analytical side of it, I have like, I'm spreadsheets and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
but my daily life is not I'm not a spreadsheet type of girl, but like for book writing, it has to be that way. But I put those big moments throughout it. So, and I also, disclaimer, I want to say all I said the crazy people that listen to music while they're, what I really mean by that are neurotypical people, because my ass is the one that is woo. Okay. So yeah. So but normal people that can do more than one thing at one time without, their medication. So anyway, that sounds really cool. I like that. Okay. So what are some of your favorite books that have inspired you, writers that have inspired you?
Oh god, I gotta look over at my bookshelf.
Put you on
Every
the
time I get
spot.
asked a question like this, I think, oh, I've never read a book in my
Oh yeah,
whole
we don't
entire
read
life.
ever. Yeah. Well, what's reading?
Well, I feel like everything always comes back to Shakespeare. I don't that doesn't really count as a book,
Oh
but
yeah, it absolutely does. It's a style of writing. It's inspirational. Yes. Plays.
yeah, but
Yes.
my grandfather is a huge English person. He has this library in his house that he's squirreled away probably 50 manuscripts, just typed out or written by hand, printed, and just hidden in the different
Oh,
pages of the hundreds and hundreds of books he has. He is incredible. And
that is a
he,
story. That is a
right?
Megan, write that story for me. That's
I
so
know.
cool. Yes, that's
Um,
cool.
and from a really young age, he would read me Shakespeare and fairy tales. And he kind of put that Shakespearean story structure and vibe and mood in my head. I think the first one that he ever read me was King Lear, which
Oh,
is a lot.
for a
He,
kid, yeah.
he said, let's start with the most confusing one and
I
work our way
mean, I'm
back.
like, I'm like, well, I mean, then yeah, you can understand anything after that point. So you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Um,
And that's where the theater comes from too, because then you had the Shakespearean, the plays, and yeah, that's very
yes.
cool. Very, very cool. All right, that's awesome. So, do you create a lot of suspense and tension in your writing, or do you lean more? Are you like a cozy horror writer? Are you more of like a body horror type of writer? Like, what kind of horror are we talking about here for Ouroboros?
Yeah, it's
Ouroboros.
so Ouroboros is more tension than gore. There is a bit of gore toward the end, because things get tense, things get bloody at the very end. Final
It's horror.
confrontations.
Yeah,
You gotta go all in.
gotta go for
Um,
it.
I do love some body horror. I think that not too much of it because I get a little squeamish. I think it can just be really evocative if you get the right balance of it.
Oh yeah.
But I love creating tension and atmosphere because I think a setting can be just as much of a character as the
Oh, it is.
actual
It
characters.
absolutely is. Yes,
I mean, Gothic,
immersive and
Gothic
yes,
reader, Gothic writer, Quill and Crow, that everyone
all
there
of it.
gets it for
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
You had another Quill and Crow author on here, Lydia, and I read
Did
an
you
arc
read
of
her
her book. I did. I
super quiet,
devoured it in like
quiet
a day.
stillness of empty houses? Love that shit. Oh,
And
such a
that's a
good
great
book.
example of how
Yes,
setting is a character in itself.
absolutely, absolutely.
And that's something huge in Ouroboros specifically. I'm currently on sub with a different horror book it's a Western. And that one leans a little
That's
bit
a
more.
departure.
It is. It's I'm just bopping around America
I'm into it. I like it. Yeah.
that was more body horror, more visceral, because I think that kind of comes with the territory of the Western vibe. But something as otherworldly and kind of cerebral as alternate realities and Ouroboros, you kind of have to play on the psychological aspects of it too.
Oh,
It's
that's
fun.
awesome. I have to, I'm trying to remember exactly the title. There's a horror western that I need you to read, and it's called Hunger's as Old as This Land
Okay, I'm gonna write that
by
down.
my sweet friend Zachary Rosenberg. And
Okay.
I had never read a horror western before, and I read it because it was his book, and he's so nice, and I was like, I have to read his book. I have to read this. And so I was like, where has Western horror been my whole life? This is cool as shit.
And there's
So,
so much material there. I wrote it down and added
yes,
to my list.
you must go definitely read his book. It's super, super good. And I just, that whole setting, because I'm not like a Western gal, and
Hmm.
so that I'm fascinated by that. So can't wait for your Western to come out too. Put me on the ARC list. I'll be there for it. Okay. Love that. Okay. So tell us about your character, Theodora Buchanan, and her journey in the book.
Theo is a troubled person. I feel like that's a kind way to put it.
Okay.
She was kind of born of everything that I was dissatisfied with about myself at the
Oh.
time.
Mm.
Her birthday was in the middle of lockdown, so there was a lot of rough interiority
Yeah.
happening. And she struggles a lot with family and with her own identity and with guilt. I for a long time didn't talk to my siblings because they live with my biological father and my stepmother, and I grew up with my mother and my stepfather,
Mm-hmm.
and we were very much apart for a while.
Yeah.
And so I came into their lives really late, regrettably late.
Yeah.
And so I was during lockdown trying to connect with them over social media, and I started listening to Taylor Swift because my little sister likes Taylor Swift, and let's
Oh
talk
my
about something.
gosh.
My little
Yes, how to
brother loves
connect.
Fortnite, so I'm gonna play
Yeah.
Fortnite.
How
Which
big of an age gap is there between you all?
my sister and I are 11 years apart, and my brother and I are 13 years apart.
Okay, I get that. I
So
have a sister
it's
that's a year apart, and then I have a sister that's 14 years apart, and then I have a sister that's like 17 years younger than me. So, yeah, that's pretty intense. Pretty intense. That's
it's a
really cool that
lot.
you're able to rebuild that relationship though. Like and then have kind of that same sort of thing going on. That's really cool. Very, very cool. Okay, so what is the most surprising thing that you learned while writing your book?
I immediately think of that Reddit thread with all of the park rangers sharing
Mhm.
their wild and crazy experiences. Um, I don't know if this counts. I don't know if this is what you meant when you asked things that I learned. What I learned about myself, or what did I learn about the world?
Hey,
Um,
anything. I'm this moss to the flame. I want to know it all.
well, I did learn that you can get 10 pounds of bulk candy for $5 on Amazon. So that's one
What kind
thing.
of candy is the
Gummy
question?
bears.
Okay, are they Black Forest gummy bears?
They're just like the variety pack, which
Oh,
I'll take
okay.
it.
Okay,
But on
yes.
a more relevant, well, Theo eats a lot of bulk candy, so that's relevant, I guess.
That is
But
absolutely right. It was like a shit. What is that called? Method acting. You were method writing. You were just
yes,
embracing Theo at that moment.
the
Okay,
giant bag
well,
of gummy bears.
yes,
Um,
that's fun.
but I think something that really stuck with me and really tickled me when I was researching, that if I had to pull out one story from when I was researching to tell somebody, it's there was this park ranger who was on the search and rescue team, and she was trying to track down someone who had disappeared from her own engagement shoot. And she had
What?
come with garment bags, like with dresses and outfits and stuff. And her fiance had turned around and she was just gone. And they thought she had slipped and fallen down a ridge or something, but her body wasn't there. There was no sign. And they looked for her for days, and then they started finding her clothes propped up like on branches and
No.
like tree trunks and stuff, and they found her totally unharmed but wandering confused like 5 miles away.
Was she? I
Crazy
mean, like,
stuff.
why? Like, was she coherent without any of her clothes on, or was she
She was just
leaving a trail for
confused.
everyone? Like, hey, look at my shirt; it's here. This is a flag. Like,
Shop
I
at
mean,
David's Bridals.
yeah, like I feel like I would do some shit like that. I'd be the person leaving the fingerprints everywhere, and I'd be like pulling up my hair, like this is a path, follow the pink.
Yeah. Never lose you anywhere.
Yeah, no, now literally never, literally, and I'm like nearly 6 feet tall. Like it's not happening. So bless it, bless it. Okay, so what was your favorite scene to write in the Eye of Ouroboros? I'm gonna say it 10,000 times so that I get it right every time. So
That's so hard. I am a deeply cruel person. So all of the angsty, horrible, um, everyone's favorite character gets got scenes are my favorite to do. But I think
yes,
the one that's most exciting was there's a scene pretty early on when Theo first encounters the Infinite Corridor, and she's there with Delilah, her ex-girlfriend, and Quinn, her best friend, and they're in the bathroom of the bar that they frequent, and they open the door and it's not the bar. It's a long
some Narnia
hallway.
shit going on there. Yes.
Exactly. And at the end of the hallway, there's a big mahogany door with a phone ringing behind it, and they open it up and there's the big bad for the whole book, and then they get chased by these primordial hounds made of eldritch otherworldly goo, and it just goes
Yes.
immediately from oh no, my lost sister, to oh, things are happening totally
My
beyond my
life.
comfort.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
goes over the threshold, and that moment when you just tip into the world of disbelief and
Yeah,
fantasy,
yeah.
it's
And
so
no
good.
return. You're like, I am
Exactly.
fucked. I am absolutely fucked right now. Yes, that I love that. It goes from like small like problems to am I going to live or die? Yeah, love that.
Exactly.
Love that. Oh my gosh, how fun. So then how do you feel like obviously that sort of thought processing going into plotting helps create that complex story, but as far as creating complex characters, you mentioned earlier how bits and pieces of things that you didn't like uh, weaved their way into Theo. Would you say that every character that you write has something from someone, or is it mostly people that you don't know, like when you're watching out in public?
I feel like every protagonist is a little bit of me.
Hmm.
Um, because I feel like we talked about earlier, horror is such a good way to work stuff out.
Always.
Um, and it's a pretty much foolproof way to express things that are hard or scary to express in any
Hmm.
other way, or to say out loud, or to say in real life. Um, and that's the whole point of stories, is to make sense of things that don't make sense. So if
Right.
it's horror, you can tackle the hard things because it's not you, it's a park ranger.
It's
Or
someone else. Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
And but then everyone that listens to this podcast, they're like, I'm on to you bitches. I know, they're like,
Like
I know.
Megan needs help.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, definitely, definitely. They already know, Marie. They are well informed of that. But no, I've had people that are like, they'll read so, and that's something too. Embarrassingly enough, though, when you have a spicy scene in a book, because I include some spicy scenes, and then people are like, I know what happens for you, girl. And I'm like, don't even think about that. Like, that is not why I wrote it that way. Okay. Thanks, though. Like, you
Gotten
know,
there yet. I'm scared
oh,
to write spice because I know that my
oh,
mom's gonna read it.
oh, see, my mom is not going to read my shit. I don't care. Like, it's fine. It's other people in the world. It's okay. I just wrote a 7-page sex scene yesterday, and I'm like, this cannot see the light of day. Like, this cannot happen. Then
It's not
not for
true
the.
forever.
This is not going anywhere. Not going anywhere. Coming out in late 2024. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, hey, if you need a beta reader, I'm
Yeah,
I'm here.
I'm telling you, we'll see, we'll see. I'm writing it as a little companion to go with the novel that is releasing next year. My plan is to just ship it out fast, but yeah, I don't know. After that 7 page, I was like, I don't know about this. This get a little spicier than I thought. So,
Lean into
oh,
it.
I mean, I guess I just need to embrace it and move on. What is that phrase? Embrace your inner intensity. Just
Oh
own
yeah,
own
I like
own the
that.
shit, boss bitch moment. That's right. So, how do you handle writer's block if you're ever in that place where it's not flowing forth and you're like, I have nothing to write about? What am I going to do? How do you bring that inspiration back?
Um, I I agonize quite a bit. I play Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, my
So
husband too. I feel that.
it's an addiction, but I can
It
stop
is.
anytime I want. um,
Yeah.
so I at any given time have something to write about. Even if it's not the book that's right in front of me, I can just sit down and bang out something about my paladin, or write about how my wizard is sad, or whatever. I just feel like
Yes.
if there are words of any kind on any page once a day, the knot will work itself out.
Awesome. So are you the DM for D&D then? Or the storyteller, are you that or
I'm not.
no?
I'm too much of a control freak. My husband
Oh,
is the DM of
yeah.
one of the groups I'm in, and
Yeah.
he's chill. I'm not, so it
Yeah, because
works.
then if they diverge and you're like, you're not supposed to go in that fucking tavern. What are you doing?
Exactly.
And then they
Exactly.
spend like 3 sessions there, and you're like, get out of the tavern. Yeah, no, I'm not BAM material either at all.
Yeah,
So
I couldn't do it.
in one of our last campaigns, somebody there was like a scuffle on the road, and 3 people ended up being murdered. And so we're
Ooh.
trying to like leave, and people are wanting to hide the bodies and like bury them, and I put them in my bag, like in my satchel, and my husband was DMing and he was like, why are you putting bodies in your bag? And I'm like, I might
Why
need them. You don't know. Like, I
not?
might need the bones. I don't know. Like,
You
and
never know what's gonna
I
happen.
was just fucking up his whole story, which is what I live for. So yeah, it was a fun venture for sure. So do you have let's see. Oh, you've actually already answered this question. If you had a favorite writing snack, and it's the gummy bears,
Gummy
right?
bears. Gotta
Gummy
be gummy
bears.
bears.
So are you coffee or tea or something else?
I'm a coffee girl, big
Really?
time. I
Okay,
need it.
okay.
Tea, I love tea, but I need caffeine in an IV. I need it
Same.
in an intense kind of problematic way that
Yeah.
tea can't really. I'm a coffee and a Red Bull girl.
Oh my God.
I know, I know.
My heart is hurting. It's fluttering. It's already stressed out. Okay, so then what is the coffee? Is it different in Ireland? Do they have like better coffee? I just assume everything in Europe and the greater anywhere outside of America is better. So what's the coffee like over there?
The coffee here is very good. It's interesting. The Starbucks here sucks. It's bad. It's bad.
I mean,
And it like they burn it every time, but there are these local little hole in the wall coffee shops that just make the most delicious coffee, the kind of coffee that will convert someone who hates coffee into being a
ooh.
coffee person. How many
Okay,
times did I
so
say coffee?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm like, this is the coffee podcast, you know. I am
It's so
not one of
good.
these coffee drinkers. I'm a tea drinker because I don't like a lot. Like, I'm like one of these frappe frozen, half the thing is
Yeah.
filled with caramel. Like, I don't even like Starbucks. That's hot take. I'm not a Starbucks girly. Like, not for me.
Overrated.
Yeah, no, I'm not into. I would give me a caramel apple cider any day. Okay, so
Oh yeah.
maybe I need to come to Ireland and have coffee. That's my problem. I'll
You
just tell
do.
my husband that. Yeah, I'm like, I have to go get the coffee. That's why I gotta
You're
go.
invited.
Yes.
You
Thank
have a
you.
friend
Thank
here
you.
now.
Yeah, exactly. I will absolutely do that. We'll look at all the spooky shit, find all the
Oh yeah.
haunted forests. Sounds awesome. Okay, so what are you currently reading right now at this moment?
Right now I am reading academic materials, which is not
Lame.
fun.
Yeah.
Um
But
I
beneficial for your life, yeah.
exactly. I did just finish Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi, I think is his
Fracassi. Yeah. I don't know what it
um
is, but yes. Love everything.
which
Yes, yes.
blew my mind. I cried at the end of that book, and you don't expect to cry at the end of a horror book.
Hey, you
It
know who
helps that
else you
I'm a
need to read?
crier, but
You need to read Gabino Iglesias if you want to cry reading a horror book too. Have
I'll
you read
write that down
anything by
too.
him? Yeah, Devil Takes You Home fucked me up. It was so good, and
Really?
I've cried multiple times reading that book. So yeah, outstanding, outstanding. So,
I'll put
and
it
he
on
won
my
a,
list.
I
I'll
think
write
I
that
think
down.
he won a Stoker for that one last year, if I'm not mistaken. But Devil Takes You Home, gotta read it. It's a good one. Okay, so what can your readers, your fans, what can we expect from you in the coming days, in the future? What's coming out from Megan Bontrager other than Aurora? What is it? It is
Ouroboros.
Ouroboros. I keep trying to say Aurora Borealis. That's my problem. Is I keep trying to say that. So
Similar.
Ouroboros. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So the Ouroboros. What after Eye of the Ouroboros?
That is out in April, and then sooner than that, I am involved in a charity anthology with Graykin Press. It's an all queer horror anthology based around the idea of camping and how camping is inherently scary.
Definitely, definitely.
Right up my alley.
Yes.
So I'm working on that. I am also working with some friends to we're writing our own D&D source book. I don't know how much I can talk about
That's
that,
cool.
but
Yeah.
as soon as that comes out, I'll be blasting it all over the place. A lot of what I'm working on and what I have down the chute right now is very much in a holding pattern because I'm on submission.
Yep.
I am currently revising 2 different novels, Shrike, my Macbeth retelling, and then my first foray into urban fantasy.
You really are dipping your toes into everything. You're just gonna try
I
it all out. You're having a little
I don't
flight.
hate free
Yeah.
time.
No. You're just like, let me put out a children's book next. Thanks, guys. Yeah.
See what happens.
Yeah, do all the things. It's fine. It's fine. Well, that's awesome. That's really cool. So do you think that you're always gonna have this kind of like I was gonna not omnivorous. Yeah, carnivorous, omnivorous,
Yeah,
where it's like multiple shit. Yeah,
everything.
God, Jesus, yes. So, are you gonna have that kind of taste? You think moving forward? Or are you gonna really settle into all horror, or what are you thinking?
I really enjoy horror and then also urban fantasy that leans horror because the
Spooky.
urban fantasy has a lot of cosmic horror elements to it. Because I can never write anything that's normal and nice and fun and everyone's happy. There's always got to
Lame.
be something horrific and
Right.
gruesome happening. It wouldn't be
Absolutely.
a me book.
Yeah, no.
So if I could just settle right into that sweet spot that blends horror and urban fantasy, because the urban fantasy started as a D&D character whose backstory just got buck wild and way beyond the bounds of what my DM would ever possibly read.
Yes.
I said to my husband, "Hey, if I come to you with like a 25-page lore document for this character," and before I could even finish, he went, "No,
No. I'm gonna try
no."
that on my husband tonight. I'm gonna be like, honey, I have an idea.
Hey.
Yeah. He'll be like, you'll forget about it tomorrow. It's fine. Like, we'll be fine. Oh my God, that's awesome. So very cool. Very cool. Just being able to find your niche and then smooth sailing right along. I love that. I can't wait to see what else we get from you. And we'll have to all, every month, go out, make sure that we are where we're about to get to the lightning round, but before we do that, I want to tell the listeners, where can they find your work? Obviously, we know that Eye of Ouroboros, woo, is coming from Quill and Crow, so you can find it there.
Yes.
Also, probably on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere books are sold. Do you have a specific website to lead people to?
My website currently is kind of busted looking, but it does exist.
It is not. I looked
Working
at
on
it. It is not busted. It's very minimalistic.
it is.
Okay, that's
It
all.
is.
It's okay.
I'm working on it. But my website is megbontra.com. Meg Bontra is also my Instagram and my Twitter.
Cool.
I most of my updates are on Twitter. I'm trying to get better at Instagram. I'm deeply bad at TikTok, although I'm trying.
Okay. I mean, aren't we
Um,
all? Aren't we all? It's just we're
it's
just putting
rough.
our feelers out everywhere we've got to go. So I love TikTok though, and I act like a fucking fool on there, and I think it's fun. And with the theater side, it's very theater-esque, you know. There's a lot of theater people on TikTok, so you
But I
just
look at
gotta.
my face and then I think, ooh, delete. I just
That's
can't. I can't do that.
I know I get that, and that's why they have filters.
Exactly.
But then
Filters are
also,
everything.
I would make more videos if I didn't like tonight. I would be like, no, my hair looks like shit, my face looks like shit. I'm not gonna do that. But you know what? Fuck it. Like, they're not there for my face. I'm not trying to impress anybody. You know, I just
Yeah.
come read my books. They're scary, and maybe my face scares you. You never know. So we just
It's
need to
all
have
part
a
of the
different.
marketing.
It's all part of it. You're scared all the way around. So okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, now lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes, bring it on.
Okay, here we go. Would you rather spend the night in a haunted house or Mill Creek, a forest in Mill Creek? From your book.
Oh, I'll do Mill Creek, I think.
Okay, you're prepared.
Because
You're like the
I
Theo
know what not
inside
to
me.
do now.
Yes, yes. Okay,
Don't touch
good.
anything.
Right, right. Don't look at anything. Don't touch. It's like a kid in a China store, like nothing. Hands to self. Just sit
Exactly.
in the corner. Just don't actually just sit in the car. Like, don't even. Yeah. Okay. Ghosts or aliens?
Ghosts. Because they can be friends. Aliens I don't trust yet.
Okay. I'm surprised
Ghosts,
by that with the Air Force and the Area 51 and all of that. I almost thought
you
you would say
know.
aliens.
My dad
Yeah.
was being too withholding. I don't know if I can get with yeah.
Literally, my dad, same thing. My dad was on the OG Space Force with the Air Force, and they were stationed over that. And his job, all I know, because I found it in declassified CIA documents. I found his little platoon or whatever the fuck they are. That they listen for sounds in deep space.
Oh my
And
god.
then would analyze those. And I'm like, motherfucker, you have
He
known
knows
about
something.
aliens all this time. So then when they came out and said there were aliens, I was like, I knew it. I knew it. Like,
He's not
so,
surprised.
I know. Yeah. He was just like, he always just kind of smiled. And I'm like,
Well,
I'm on to you. I'm on to you, Dad. Oh, man. Okay. Would you rather be a vampire or a werewolf?
oh, it's gotta be vampire. Vampire all the
Definitely.
way.
Team
Oh yeah.
vampire.
I'm
Yes. Some
sorry,
people
werewolf
say werewolf.
people.
I know they say that, and they're like, and I'm like, it's only once a month. That's lame. Like, I would be a vampire and live forever. That'd be awesome.
Vampires are sexy and cool all the time.
All for sure, for sure. Okay, classic horror movies or modern horror movies?
Oh, that's so hard. Oh no.
That's hard. I know.
Oh no, you're breaking up. The signal is dropping. I know this is lightning round. Um, okay, modern horror movies.
Really,
I know.
it's all the Jordan Peele movies that are turning you, isn't it? I feel
Did
like
you see Talk to Me?
not yet, but I've seen enough clips to know that I would fucking love it.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah,
god. So
yeah.
good.
I bet it is. And that
That
listen,
Ari Aster.
any kind of like Ouija shit or like communicating, like that fucks me up. Like I did the Bloody
Oh yeah.
Mary shit in the mirror one time, and I'm like, never
Me
again,
too.
bitch, never again. Like too
I had to
much.
cover
So
my mirrors in my bedroom for years.
yeah, no, literally, I was just like, and I even read something that was like, "Don't turn your phone screen up; it's a portal." And I'm like, "I'll put that bitch
What?
down too." Like I don't know, I'm real superstitious about shit like that. So I'm just like, mate, I'm not gonna even give it a chance. You know, not even gonna give it a chance. So I'm the definitely spill the salt over the left shoulder. Like we covered all the bases over here for sure. Okay, would you rather explore an abandoned asylum or a haunted house? Like, you know it's haunted.
Oh, for sure, haunted house.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. If it's definitely haunted, we know for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Okay. Zombies or demons? Oh, very
Demons.
few people say demons. Okay.
Really? What does that say about me?
Yes. No, no, because sometimes I'll ask, I have variations of these questions. And so sometimes I'll be like, would you rather be possessed by a demon or like followed by a ghost everywhere? And so many, they're like, oh, I'd rather have the ghost. And I'm like, I think a demon would be neat. Like, just be like
in your head.
Like, are they, they just join the other voices. I'm kidding.
So many of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, join the party, baby. You are not alone. Okay. Would you rather attend a seance or attend a ghost tour?
Ooh, I've been on a ghost tour before, and it was a lot of fun. So I'd have to say that. It was in Savannah, and that's like the nexus of all spooky things.
Oh, so. I just did a ghost tour in Savannah like a month ago. Yeah, I love it. So love fun. It there. And I got a spooky tattoo there that's a ghost holding a peach because it was Savannah, and I call it Booty because
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Go look on my social media. You'll see a picture of Booty. So that was, yes, I was having the spooky Savannah vibes for sure. So I was on a writing retreat, so I had to. I mean, you have to, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Psychological horror or supernatural horror?
Supernatural horror.
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah, with your cosmic
stuff going on up here. I don't need help.
Yeah. No, yeah. Let's go for the external shit. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Would you rather be chased by a serial killer or a monster?
The monster. For reasons.
Really? Right? You and your dark fantasy. I know where you're coming from. Same. So much same. It's okay. I'll put a picture of my husband up here. He looks like fucking Bigfoot. Like, I get it. Yeah, it is. It really is. Like, hey, what is it? We're embracing our inner intensity. No shame. Okay, oh, yeah. No shame. Yeah. All right. Haunted dolls or haunted mirrors?
Ooh, it's gotta be mirrors because dolls are already scary.
They're fucking weird. Yeah, they're super fucking creepy. They don't even have to move and they're fucking creepy. Yes, definitely. Oh, yeah. Okay, slasher movies or monster movies?
Oh, that's hard.
They're all hard.
It's controversial, but I gotta say slasher movies because I think that slasher movies are just fun.
They are fun.
Just like Scream.
Yes.
It's like they're not that scary, but they're fun. They're jumpy.
They're just fun. Yeah. Yeah. Did you read Stephen Graham Jones' My Heart is a Chainsaw?
Yes.
Like an ode to slasher movies. Like, so good. So good. Okay, so jump scares or slow burn scare?
Ooh, probably slow burn because I am a very jumpy person and I get startled by everything. Everything. Oh yeah.
Do you read movie synopsis before you go watch a scary movie? Or do you not go watch a scary movie?
Well, I go to doesthedogdie.com. But then I spend whenever I can feel a jump scare coming, my husband will look over and see me like with my ears plugged and my eyes like half covered.
It's like I'm kind of looking.
I'm
Yeah.
watching. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. I love this. This is fun. I do the same thing, except I look like up at the corner, so I'm like watching it out of the peripheral almost. Like
Yeah,
I'm
you're
not
watching like a
actually
TV.
watching it. It's like hiding in the comments on TikTok where it's like, I don't want to see it, but I want to know. Like I'm just curious. So for sure. Okay, would you rather investigate a UFO sighting or a Bigfoot sighting? Blah, blah, blah. Bigfoot sighting.
That's so hard. Oh, it's gotta be Bigfoot. It's gotta be Bigfoot. Cryptids are everything to me. I love a cryptid.
Okay, I'm gonna reveal some of my ignorance here. So the Horror Writers Association out of Atlanta group went on a field trip to the Bigfoot Museum in the Blue Ridge Mountain area. And of course we were like, absolutely, we're going, this is on, we were ready for it. And because Tennessee mountains, they even did the Finding Bigfoot like on the street where I grew up. Like that is, it's the epicenter. Okay. Yeah. And so my dumbass did not know that Bigfoot, and it sounds so fucking stupid to say it out loud now, but like I just thought that there was like one Yeti that lived in like the Himalayas, and there was like one Bigfoot that lived in like the US, and just like I guess he just vacationed around. I don't know what I fucking thought. I didn't realize there were big feet, that there was a whole race that they, like I didn't know that's what the cryptid myth was. I'm like, am I a fucking dumbass? Like, what am I thinking? So.
Well, maybe you were thinking of Mothman, because there is just the one Mothman. I don't know.
And the Loch Ness Monster, there's only one. I'm just saying, there's only one. Like, why is there a big feet society? I didn't know. So
it complicates things.
I was just, we were standing in this museum, and they had some of those like atrocious wax figures, and it was this whole Bigfoot family that had like the mom and the dad and the kids, and I was like, what is happening here? And my husband was like, are you serious? Just like, I am in Looney Tune. I'm sorry, I didn't know. So for any poor little, like comment on the pod and let me know if you feel the same way. If I'm the only person that's ever in the history of the world thought that there was only one Bigfoot, like make me feel better, because it's embarrassing for sure. Okay. So last question on the lightning. That's really not a lightning round. It's more of like a slow rumble before the storm. It takes a long time. Horror podcasts or horror movies?
Horror podcasts.
Which is the best horror podcast, though, of course. Moss of the Flame. Yes. Yeah. It's the new best one. Yes, definitely. Now that you've experienced it. So anyway, all right. Thank you, Megan Bontrager, for joining us. Everyone that's listening, make sure that you go and buy Eye of Ouroboros, coming out in April of 2024. And tell us one more time, Megan, where can they find you online at?
Meg Bontra, Megbontra on Twitter and Instagram. Book Hag on TikTok.
Yes. It's amazing.
Awesome. My website's the same as my Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, and definitely go to the website because it's busted, right?
Maybe avoid the website for a little bit.
They're all be like, I have to go there first. I have to see this busted. It is not bad. It's just minimal. It's fine. You're gonna be like, tonight. You're gonna be like, I'm gonna fix this fucking website. Fuck her. Like. So everyone, go support the building of a new website for Megan and buy Eye of Ouroboros.
Pay me so I can get someone to do it for me.
There it is. She needs to hire someone, and so buy her books so she can do that. Oh my god, that's amazing. All right, well, thank you, Megan, for coming on the pod. It was such a pleasure to have you.
Blast.
Oh, I'm so glad. See, you were nervous. It was fun. It was good.
But I'm really
No, yeah, good. All right, Moss. We're gonna fly to the flame. See you guys next time.